guys, it's Helen and Cathy again, coming to you from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel.
And my basement.
Right, and the Coven's, what do we call this?
This is the Covenstead.
It's the Covenstead.
Right.
There you go. So we're coming to you. We've been a little busy and hectic, mostly me, wrapping up my year 4, so it's been a little... So anyhow, we thought we would come to you with some more top 10 lists.
And disclaimer, the cats are a little riled up, although I see one is going upstairs. So if you hear some weird cat noises, it's not our fault.
She has bad kitties.
They're beautiful kitties.
But they're bad.
Maybe you'll get to see them because they've been jumping around.
Right. So we're going to film some top 10s. We're going to share some fun stuff and perspectively stuff from us and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, perspectively stuff. Okay.
And stuff.
Okay, so tonight, this topic for this podcast is our top 10 Wiccan authors.
Yes.
Compiled
in no
particular order. Although the number one is kind of...
Number one.
So, but the rest of them are in no particular order.
And so we tend to take turns when going through these lists. So I will get us started. So the number one Wiccan author that we thought we would talk about is, I think you can pretty much guess it's going to be Christopher Penczak on this list at some point.
Sure.
So Christopher, I mean, if you've read anything from the blog or watched any videos here on the YouTube channel, Christopher is probably brought up
a lot. Every time.
Just about every time.
And we own a lot of his material, and when he comes to convocation, we see every class that he does.
Right. And there's a reason for that.
Because he's very good at what he does.
Yeah, he's a very dynamic speaker. He's very well spoken. He expresses himself both verbally and written word very well. And that, I think, is why I think that's part of his success, is that he can express his ideas in a very coherent way.
Right. And he doesn't talk down to you, but he does spell it out very clearly what it is that he's talking about,
and
so everyone can understand.
And he'll even give you variations of things.
Right.
You know, if he's talking about a mythical story or a magical practice or what have you, and if there's different variations of things, he's going to give you every variation that he knows about.
Right.
And
so we totally suggest him as an author.
And he, of course, has the books that are based around his mystery school, the Temple of Witchcraft.
But there's a lot more, too.
But there's a lot other topics, too. So there's the Witch's Shield, there's Instant Magic.
Mystic Foundations.
Right. So he's got a really good body of work. So there's something there for anybody.
Everyone. Right.
So
now that we've talked for a long time about him, we're going to be a little shorter on the other authors because although we do like them and have read stuff from them, we don't have their book list memorized. So there will be a lot of referring to Amazon. So,
and we have our devices that work.
So the next author is Ellen Dugan, and I really like Ellen. She has been to convocation several times. She's very down to earth. She not only does magic books as far as like natural witchery, cottage witchery, garden witches herbal, the natural psychic, garden witchery, practical protection magic. She has also moved into fiction, and so she has a line of fiction books as well.
That we'll probably talk about in some capacity
in the future.
In another,
when we read them. Although Joy has read them.
Right. Joy.
So we might be able to pull Joy in to talk about them.
Right. Our Coven sister Joy is very well versed when it comes to Ellen Dugan and her body of work. I'm the Christopher girl. She's the Ellen girl. Right. So, and Ellen's a master gardener and has a lot of experience.
Yes. And you can follow her on Facebook, and she's got some really interesting pictures that she posts of her garden. It's very, very nice.
Right. So that's why a lot of her work centers on gardening and plants and things of that nature. Right. So she's pretty cool.
So that was number 2. Number 3.
So number 3 is Raven Kaldera. And Raven is part of the, I think he considers himself to be a northern shamanic tradition, which is basically the Norse pantheon. Some might call it asatru, some might refer to it as heathenism. I think pretty much heathenism, whatever.
Hedonism? No. Heathenry.
He pretty much refers to it as a northern shamanic tradition. And he's got a really big body of work too. Maybe not as big as Christopher, but he is the only person that I know of. And if you know of another book, then I'd love to know. But he's the only person that's ever written about pagan polyamory, which I appreciate. He also has a book called Dark Moon Rising, which is about pagan BDSM. He's got a northern shamanic.
If you hear the pounding, it's my husband working on a new deck. I apologize.
He has a book on plants from the northern shamanic perspective. And he also has a really interesting myth astrology book too. That's a pretty interesting technique and read. So, Raven Kaldera, pretty cool dude.
Yes. So, and I'm kind of distracted because Nala likes to jump on things and she might be trying...
is circling.
Yeah, she's circling. So, our next person is Starhawk, and Starhawk is one of the pagan Wiccan elders. She's been around for a long time, as far as authors are concerned. A lot of people know her from the Spiral Dance, which was a book written over 20 years ago.
She did the 5 Sacred Things too, which is a book of fiction.
Yes, there's actually a series of the 5th Sacred Thing.
Oh yeah, what did I say?
The 5th 5 Sacred Things.
Sorry.
5th Sacred Thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Nala. Kitty, 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 kitty. Yeah,
there
Nala.
you are, pretty girl.
Yeah. I knew that she'd be around sooner or later. There's also the Earth Path, grounding your spirit in the rhythms of nature. There's, it looks like some of these other ones are fiction, Walking to Mercury.
And I think, didn't she work with M. Maka Nightmare on that Pagan Book of Living and Dying?
I think so.
I think she's got like a co-authorship.
Yes, look, it's right here. Look, it's right here. So, yes, she was a co-author of that. There's Others Dreaming in the Dark. There's The 12 Wild Swans. So there are a lot of different variations from fiction to...
And again, she's kind of like considered one of the elders of the movement, the tradition, whatever you want to call it. So she's someone that's worth checking out, if for no other reason than for, a historical context.
Sorry, I don't want her jumping on the show.
So that is
was
number 4. So number 5 brings us to the halfway point is, of course, Scott Cunningham has to be on a list of top 10 Wiccan authors. I mean, Scott Cunningham should live in anyone's Wiccan library in some capacity. This man wrote books about any kind of correspondence you could think of. He has a stone book. He has an herb book. He has a book on aromatherapy. He has hello, Nala. He has spell books, that are really good for like the beginner who wants to start learning and looking at spellcraft. He does like there's like a home witchery or something like that. And then of course there's the solitaire books.
Yes.
The pair of solitaire books that we both read
right
early on.
Before we met each other, I think. I know that I had...
You probably did, but I did afterward.
Guide to the Solitary Practitioner and a further Guide to the Solitary Practitioner.
I mean, there's great timeless rituals, like the consecration of tools. I still use that.
Isn't that from the Celtic magic?
No, that's from Cunningham's book.
Okay.
So, so Scott Cunningham definitely. Got to be in any library, like I said.
Okay, and our next person, sorry, I'm working around the cat. The number 6 is Dorothy Morrison, and I know that we've talked about Dorothy before because she is awesome. She knows what she's talking about. She does a lot of hoodoo-type magic. She's been to Convocation several times. We love her. We love her line of candles and smudge sprays. She's just awesome. She wrote Utterly Wicked, Curses, Hexes, and Other Unsavory Notions. And I know there's a big stigma about not doing curses, but there are times when you need them. And that is an excellent resource. She also wrote The Craft, a Witch's Book of Shadows, Everyday Magic, Everyday Moon Magic, Bud, Blossom, and Leaf, Sun Magic. She has a lot of them. Oh, one of my favorites is that needlework one.
Yeah, I think I did a book review on that.
Yeah, magical
book.
needlework. There's a lot of things in there from sewing to cross stitch. It's very, very interesting. There's a tarot book. She also dabbled in the fiction with Lucinda's Web, but she hasn't gone back to that since.
Yeah, I have that book, and it's on my list of things that I need to read. I don't read fast, unlike some other people.
I started it and then skipped to the end and went, I don't know if I can live through this, and stopped reading it, which I need to just pick it up and finish it.
Yeah, just finish it. Yeah, just to know.
Yep.
So that's our number 6. Number 7, somehow I got the Ravens.
Hold on, let's back up a minute.
What do you have here?
Voodoo Doll Spellbook, a compendium of ancient and contemporary spells and rituals. She's apparently...
is that new?
I don't know. I was petting the cat and moved to... Oh, this is a different author.
Oh, well,
that explains it. Okay,
maybe that means you need to look further into that book.
Maybe.
So anyhow, it just so happens that I got the Ravens. So Raven Grimassi is another, I would consider him an elder.
Okay.
He's got quite an interesting body of work. I remember the first time reading Raven Grimassi was when we studied for the Year and a Day with the Dianic group that we studied with. Surprisingly enough, they had a man's author on their reading list, but he's got some interesting stuff out there. I know that I've got The Witch's Craft, and I've got Spirit of the Witch. But he also has a Book of Ways, volumes 1 and 2, Hereditary Witchcraft. He has a set of oracle cards that he did with his wife, Stephanie. Is it Taylor? I think her name is. And I have that, but I haven't worked with it too much. But this is a good reminder that I kind of I should pull that out and look at it. Sure. So yeah, Raven Grimassi, a very interesting. I've never met him. Never.
Are we sure it's a him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's never been to a convocation.
He's actually friends with Christopher.
Oh, okay.
Sure. They do various events together.
That makes sense. So. And number 8 on our list is DJ Conway, and Celtic Magic is one of the first books I read on Wicca. And again, we pull information from that. We've used the circle casting and various.
Oh yeah, a variation of that we used for years.
Right. Well, I think it's still part of the ritual, just not as much a part of the ritual. Mm-hmm. He's also written Animal Magic, Wicca: The Complete Craft, Moon Magic.
I have that. That is really good.
Moon Magic?
The Moon Magic, yes.
I've got the Complete Craft, I think, over there somewhere.
Yeah, that Moon Magic one is
Crystal
really
Enchantments, a little Pendulum Magic, which I have that one too. Dancing with Dragons, Maiden Mother Crone.
Maiden Mother Crone, that's on our
list
of
reading
books.
List, right. Mm-hmm. So a big variety. He's got a Norse magic book.
Yes.
An advanced Celtic shamanism. Oh, wait, let's put that in my... Let's put that in my bio, add to my list. Okay, so
sorry to be shopping while we're recording.
Yeah, so he has quite a big, and I'm still scrolling down. The Ancient Art of Fairy Magic, Magic of the Gods and Goddesses. He's got a big library of books. Bibliography is actually the word. So good author to check out.
Body of work is what I call it.
It's a good
so number 9, we're almost done with this list. Number 9 is Michelle Belanger, and Michelle is someone that we've talked about quite a bit. She's at Convocation every year, and she's a really dynamic speaker. She knows her stuff. She's an academic, and she knows a lot about a lot of things.
She does, and it's not strictly about Wicca. I think they lean more toward Egyptian magic, which is slightly different. And she's a psychic vampire,
right?
And a psychic.
Right, and so she has an encyclopedia on demons.
Right.
She, of course, spent time on
Paranormal
State. So she's got books, about afterlife.
Hauntings is a book about hauntings that she's experienced.
And Walking the Twilight Path.
Yep.
That's a gothic book of the dead. She also has Psychic Dream Walking.
Which is interesting.
And she has also recently gone into the world of fiction.
Right.
And she has a book deal for a trilogy of books, and the first one is really good. So
I haven't really started it. I'd like to. I was really excited to buy it, but life kind of gets in the way. So
right, I haven't quite finished it either, but it's a really good story. So, so that's
so our last author on our top 10s is A.J. Drew. And he has done a lot of books too as well. He's got several on Wicca for Men, Wiccan Formulary and Herbal. He's got a book about God Goddess. Apparently, Everything Motorcycle book. Look at that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Wicca for Couples. He's got Aradia, the Gospel of Witches, which is probably like
it's the Charles Leland. He must have a co-authorship on that.
Well, he can't have a co-authorship, but maybe an editor. He might have looked at the translation.
Like
Wicca Spellcraft for Men, which I thought was interesting. Not that I'm a man, but if I was a man, the Wiccan Bible, Make a Killing with the Laws of Attraction, Awareness, and Reciprocation. So he has a body of work as well.
He touches on some subjects that, not a lot of people do, because, like a Wicca book for men, I don't think there's any other book on the topic.
Christopher does one.
Yeah, but
Sons of the Goddess.
Yeah, but that is geared toward gay men.
Yeah, where AJ's is more towards straight.
Right. Well, or men in general.
Right.
So, and the couples one I think is interesting.
Yeah, you don't see too many of that either.
Right. So that's kind of nice. So there we have it, a top 10 list.
Okay.
Hope you guys like it.
If you have any suggestions for something that should have been on the list, someone who should have been on the list and wasn't, please comment. Let us know.
And if there's a top 10 list that you'd like to see us do, we would like to hear about that too.
Yes.
So if you learned something from this or enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So until next time, thanks for walking the path a little while with us, and we'll see you soon. Blessed be.